everyone, I'm Danielle. Welcome to Crafty Stitches. This is Flosstube number 9. Thank you so much for joining me today. My Flosstube channel is dedicated to my love of cross stitch. I will show you the things I am working on, the things I look forward to starting, and also when they get finished. So again, welcome. Thank you so much. Please join me. Again, next time, like and subscribe, and please leave a comment too. I love hearing from you guys. Just a little update from us here. So in Ohio, it's definitely fall. We are about to have our first snow tomorrow, probably just an inch or two, but the kids are super excited. I think it's been a bit since I've reintroduced myself. So I live in Central Ohio near Columbus. We moved here just a couple of years ago from South Carolina, and I have been cross stitching for quite a while, since I was 8, but most dedicated in the last, I guess 2016 or so. So really enjoyed the process and learning, like just trying new things and new projects. And I am definitely a process stitcher. I love to finish things, but I really just love my projects too. You know, I was looking at the last week or so, organizing some things, and I think like a lot of mine are like 200 stitches by 200 stitches. And like those are pretty big projects. And so I really feel like you have to just love the process to get through those sometimes. So that is me. I do have 3 kids, and they are 9, 7, and 3. And so they definitely keep me busy as well. I have not convinced any of the older ones to cross stitch yet, but I'm holding out hope that one day, they will ask me how to do it. So, see it. So, and then I also have a lot of pets. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats, and my daughter has 2 fancy rats. So we are at capacity for animals here, but you can definitely see in my projects that a lot of them have animals in them. So yes, so that's my introduction. Welcome again. I have been busy these last 4 weeks. We did have a chest cold that went through our house, and so we are finally all feeling better. And that is also nice because I think all the kids at some point stayed home from school. So, but they're all feeling good and looking forward to Thanksgiving next week. So over the last 4 weeks, I worked on 11 projects, which is exciting. I had 1 new start in there, and I think that's it. So let's get started. I want to show you some stuff. So the first one I worked on was Letters from Hogwarts. It was a Stitch Your Own Adventure from 2020. This project is by Cunning Cross Stitch, and it is no longer available, unfortunately. The designer does have a new stitch along, well, yeah, so it's a stitch along, but it's a Stitch Your Own Adventure. So everyone's is going to look a little different depending on like I think it's like there's questions that you answer, and it will pick kind of which pattern that you're supposed to stitch. So there is that. He also has a few other projects on there that that were stitch-alongs that were not Stitch Your Own Adventure, but very cool if you're a Disney lover, or if you like video games. They had a Animal Crossing one, which was really neat. So anyway, so yeah, check that website out. I also list all of the information about my projects below, and if there's any links that I can provide, I also do that. Because I know it's nice to be able to follow along, especially if you're interested in a project. So, all right, so yeah, so Stitch Your Own Adventure, Harry Potter. This is extremely exciting. I worked 7 days on it. I think after my last Flosstube, I got so excited about I finished the train, that I just like really committed to working on the last motif on the top, and then getting it so I could get to the wand. So that's what I did. I haven't stitched my wand yet, but I did pick my my motif at the top. Okay, so, and I'm going to try to do before pictures this time. So, so hopefully I'll have that on the side just so you guys can see what was there last time. But this is where I'm at now. And more specifically, I worked on this 9 3/4 train sign, which I had the recommendation from a viewer. Thank you, Judith Smith, for helping me with this, because she's like, you know what I did is I did the 9 3/4 sign, and I was like, that is brilliant. I love it. So I couldn't find the chart anymore on the Facebook group. I don't know if it got deleted, but I just went ahead and looked at one of the pictures of someone else's project and kind of from there came up with my own chart so I could stitch it. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it really adds to the top, especially next to the train. So I'm very happy. I also stitched these two designs here, the red and the green swirls, which are symbolic of the houses in the book. So I have two more colors in the middle. There's a blue and a yellow, but they are part of the wand, which I did go ahead and you have to roll a dice like 3 times. And so I rolled it once to figure out what colors I was going to be using, which I did find out, and I think I have them in here, so that'll be fun. So these are my wand colors, which is pretty cool. They're a nice light brown. And then the next, the other two dice rolls are for picking like which the top half of your wand and the bottom half of your wand. So I will be doing that hopefully very soon. But I'm really happy with the progress on that one. It's nice to actually start to see it like, you know, coming together. We also recently watched the second movie because my daughter has been reading the books. And I'm also rereading them because when she started reading them, I realized I really just didn't remember the details anymore. So she's almost to the end of the 4th book already. And I'm just started the 3rd one. But she reads like super fast. So like I'm actually amazed how fast she's going through these books. I'm also super excited for her though because they're so good. So anyway, so yes, that's where I am on the Harry Potter project. The next one I worked on was Camping Out, which is a Mill Hill. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about the project, the cloth. For the Harry Potter project, I'm using an Evenweave that's 36 count. And it was by DoveStitchDotCom. So it is a printed fabric, which is why it's very soft. And you may have noticed that when I was holding it, that it crumples very easily when you're moving it, which it's nice. So it's a little different from my other fabrics, but I like it. And I love the color for that project. So, so the next one is the Mill Hill kit. This is one of their buttons and beads projects. And I have been working on that for a couple of years now. This one is one I bought when we were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee in 2022 for a family vacation. And I actually stopped by the L&S there, which was called, I wrote it down, Crossed Threads, which has since, they closed their brick and mortar store, but they have opened, or they may have already had it open, but they have an online store now too, which is really neat. So, so that's cool. That's where I got it. And I worked 2 days on this, and which is neat because I actually made a fair amount of progress. So I worked a little bit more, I think, on the water, maybe. I still have the green fill in down here, but I'm kind of saving that for a time when I just need to fill in. And I don't need, like it's, like it won't be easy for me to look at a pattern. But here you can see I added the canoe. So I've got part of the canoe coming together. I think I just have a darker red to put in those gaps. But that's exciting. And this one does have a bear bead also, or I'm sorry, a bear button that goes right here. And he's gonna look really neat. And we did see black bears while we were there. So that's why I think this project spoke to me, is because I was like, oh yeah, because we got to see black bears. I mean, they came right up to our cabin. So I thought that would be a good like memory for this project. So, so yes. And then the next project I worked on, and you guys see this one, pretty much every floss tube and probably forever until I finish it. This is the Northwoods Heirloom Stocking. This is by Kooler Design Studio, and it is stitched on Lugana 25 count in potato by Zweigart, and it is stitched 3/2. And I got this off they do have digital patterns now off their website. So I am stitching, this is the bottom of the stocking. I'm gonna pull it back just in case I have a before picture for you guys. And then, so I concentrated still on the heel of the stocking right here. The doll, I finished stitching all of her, like her hat. And then I also added to the tree skirt around her. And I basically got all the stitches done around her so I could start her back stitching. And I actually did do some of her back stitching, which you guys might be able to see that. So I got some stitching in her dress. There's a little bit more around her feet that I have not done. But of course, I'm loving how this is coming together. And originally, when I had picked this out, I actually got the book from the library. I found that it was like a Better Homes and Gardens book with all their stockings in it. And that's how I originally started with it. And then I found that I could buy the digital patterns online, which is way easier for me. So I bought those. And then, so I've got 2 stockings that are already done. And I have one for my son and one for my older daughter. And they are going to be coming out very soon. So I'm hoping in the next 2 floss tubes or so that you guys will get to see those, because I can't wait to show them. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have this finished by next Christmas. And I did show it to my 3-year-old recently, and she actually pointed out, without me saying so, she pointed out the doll, and she goes, "Dolly!" You know, she was so excited about that. So I was really happy to be able to, like, you know, add to it something she was interested in. So let's see, I am 39% done with that one too. I actually have this one in my Markup XP app. So that's how this one I can keep track of my stitches, and I'm getting almost halfway, which is pretty exciting. So, all right. The next one was my new start. I had a new start. I talked about it in my last floss tube as a start that I thought I might get to. And I did. So it's called Black Cat Crossing. It is by the Midnight Stitchery, and they have an Etsy shop. It's Midnight Stitchery XS on Etsy. And I was really excited about this one. I have a black cat, which I'd like to remember to place a picture of her here, because I wanted to last time and I forgot. Her name is Jasmine, and she loves my husband. You know, really, I want to think that of all the animals, like, that's his cat. So, but I'm also probably more of a dog person. So, like, my cat is also like one of those, like, cats that's mostly dog, you know. So this cat is like pure cat. Jasmine is like, that's just, yeah. So anyway, so Black Cat Crossing, I started it on Halloween as my Halloween start, and I got the top started there. I was super excited to get that border done around the letters, because I'm not, like, borders and me are generally not, we don't we don't like to be productive. That's what I feel like. I'm like, I always wait for the border for the end. So anyway, so I'm glad I got that done so I can fill in the black cat part. And then the only thing I need to still think about for the bottom is there's a gray owl, and I did pick a gray fabric. This is Vintage Stormy Night by Zweigart, 32 count Lugana. And so because I picked a gray, I want to pick a different color for the owl, but I haven't quite decided what gray, or I'm sorry, what brown, or if I'm going to stick with gray, I'm going to pick. But I figure I think I might stitch the buildings around him, and then I can decide. So that would be neat. And I'd really like this to be done by next Halloween, so I could have a pillow finish up on my mantle. So so that is my Black Cat Crossing. The next one I worked on, it was the day after Halloween, and I still felt in the Halloween spirit, so I pulled out Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I did this as a digital pattern as well, and it's stitched on 20 count Aida in Witch's Brew by XJuDesigns. And let's see, I worked 3 days on this and I reached 21%, because this is another one I luckily have in my, oh, I always do that. I want to turn it upside down. My ghost is upside down. So here's where I got to. And I'm going to see, hopefully I can put a picture up next to it. So the last time I had a Flosstube, I had those purple flowers there in the front. Let me see if I have my board. Oh, I do. So the purple flowers here, I had to frog some of those or pull the stitches out because I was, oh no! Speaking of my dog cat, that is George, and he just doesn't care. He just does what he needs to do to get where he needs to go, and warm laps are his favorite. So anyway, thanks George for joining us. So I pulled out some stitches here, but I was able to get back all of those back in, and because I was like, I've worked so much on these dark colors, I was like, right, let's do some more color. So I got this little purple motif. I got the little pumpkin stitch down here, but then I went back to the black colors. So this is going to be a tree there at the bottom. But it's fun because this is like kind of a village scene, I think. Like there's like buildings and stuff. So it's kind of different from the Quaker motifs up here. So that's neat to get to. I love this fabric. And I'm really liking too how I am using the fancy floss, and which probably you can only tell when you're up close to it, but I love the way it makes it look. It's fun. So I am looking forward to continue to work on that one. All right. Oh, Neil got popped out there. Let me just. Okay. All right, so, all right, next one. This is another one you guys have seen somewhat frequently. This is Chibi Princesses. This is by @AntiqueStitch. It is a retired pattern, so it's no longer available. But I did work 1 day on this. And this one is another one I tried to figure out how much I had left. 83.4% done. So I'm so close. I've got 3 princesses left. So I finished Merida. That was my big thing this time. Now back it up so you can see them all. And so I've got, let's see, there's the Briar Rose is who I'm working on right now. And then, it's like every time I look at this, I always forget who the princesses are. I definitely have Briar Rose and then Sleeping Beauty right now. I think they're right there next to each other. And I believe it's another Belle. Yes, it is. It's the, I believe it's the Belle with her blue dress and the white apron on. So that's all I've got left. So I'm looking forward to finishing this. This is for my oldest daughter. I started this back in 2021 and she picked it out. So she was almost 6 years old. She was 5 when she picked it out. So she's still excited about it though. So I'm glad. We do love Disney. So we've been a couple of times with the kids. We went last November actually. It was so much fun. You know, it was, oh, geez, that's George again. He's just taking over. He said he's going to make room for himself. So, we went last November, and Clara was 2.5. It rained a lot. That was the only thing. Sometimes November is a great month in February in Florida, but the week we went last year was not so much. So, but that's okay. The kids I think got to go to the pool once, so they still had a good time. Of course, the parks were amazing. All right, so that is Chibi Princesses. The next one I worked on, this is kind of neat. This is Cozy Cafe by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was a stitch along they did a few years ago. I actually started it after the stitch along. My friend Emily from Stitching Mama Emily on YouTube, she I think she started it with the stitch along, and I just was so, I loved her project every time she pulled it out. So I was like, all right, I've got to just start it. And And then I pulled this out on a day where I met a new stitchy friend, which was Milka. It was so nice to meet her, and she is, and I'll put her YouTube name in because it's Mega Stitches, but I want to make sure I get it right. So anyway, but you should definitely check her out. She's so sweet. We had such a nice time at a coffee shop. It's always nice to meet a new stitchy friend, and she lives in Columbus, so she was real close by. So we did that, and then I just wanted something cute to stitch that day, and so I hadn't stitched on this in a while, so I pulled this guy out. And so it was only one day. I'm at about 20.7%, so well, 1/5 of the way. And I worked on the Panda coffee cup, which hopefully I can put a picture up to show you guys where I was. But so I finished the Panda cup. There are beads that are going to go in the raspberry right below his, right next to his eyeball there. And I like to do the beads as I go because I think it's such a treat in this kind of project. So you can see that I already added some beads in the apple cider. So yes, and this is stitched on 32 count Black Swan linen. The color is Black Swan, and this is by Fox and Rabbit Designs. And I did it because I wanted it to kind of look like it was a chalkboard type in a cafe, which I saw on Evelyn Across the Pond, I believe. I probably got that name wrong too, but I will still post it below. But anyway, she was doing it on a color like this because of that. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea. So the only thing I need to do is change the top color of where it says Cozy Cafe. I just need to pick a new color because that's stitched in gray. But I'm very happy with how that looks. The next one I pulled out is called Supersized Treasure Hunt Bookshelf Max Color, which translates to extra huge large project. This one is 999 by 723 stitches. Like, it's, for me, it's gigantic. It's going to be 40 inches by 29 inches if I ever finish it. So, but it was one of the my first full coverage, and I loved it. I honestly can't remember who I was stitching it first. Oh, it was probably, oh, I'm not sure. But anyway, regardless, I saw it on Flosstube, and started it in 2020. So this is where you can see the whole project. So I think I've got about 3 or 4 pages to get to the end over here. So it's going to be somewhere around here, I want to say. But anyway, so what I've been doing though is, so I was watching Stitching Mommy on Flosstube, and she started doing the typewriter method where she uses 10 by 10 blocks across the top, and she'll just pick whatever color's next in that block and stitch kind of cross country till she finishes that color, then go back to the block she's been working on. And I thought that's so good because I got tired of kind of doing the same stuff over here, and I wanted just to work with different colors. Initially I was just doing across the top line, but then I went back to do the 10 by 10. So, which is what I did this time. So I worked probably pretty much here to here, and I got a lot, I think I got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 blocks done across the top here. So you can kind of see this is all filled in. This is cloud I got filled in. These are all full cross too. So it does take quite a bit of time. I do love it though. Like I like the cross country feel. Like you pick up a stitch, you just follow it as low as you can. Sometimes I'll get stitches way down here, which is fun. Here's one random stitch down here. Of course, it's also nice to see the picture come, you know, like the ones I've already done. That's fun as well. So, but I am going to keep doing the 10 by 10 blocks across. This is in my Mark XP app as well, and it says I have about 1.5% done, but it's not exactly that because I started it in Pattern Keeper, And so when I switched over, because I have an iPhone, so when Markup XP came out, I was like, oh, I'd rather have that because that's my iPhone's always with me, whereas having the like Android tablet wasn't as like easy for me to have always with me. So I switched over, but I still have some blocks that aren't like fully stitched out because I jump around a bit. So anyway, let's just hope that it's closer to 2%. Because it's whatever, it's going to take me forever. So that one is done. That one is a lot of fun to work on, and it's 170 pages of project, and I for sure threw 2 of them. So I'll just keep chipping away. It's just fun. That one is purely process for me. I love the colors. I do love the picture. I can't wait to see more of it. But you know, to me, it's not about the finish. It's just about getting, working on it. And so I'm gonna take a quick break here because I have to go pick up my 3-year-old from preschool. But I will come back and finish up later. Hey, I'm back. All right, so now my 3-year-old is down for her nap, and it's time to get back into it. So the next project I worked on was Arctic Animals by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is their current stitch along that started in May, and I'm stitching it on the called for fabric, which is it's Picture This plus linen in 28 count nocturne. And I am working on the caribou, which is up here. This is the Clue 3. They just released Clue 7, and Clue 7 actually reaches all the way up to the top. So, and this is a great project. I really like the fabric. It's easy to stitch on. It's great for TV stitching because a lot of the pattern has like kind of block stitching. So we've been watching a show called Severance on Apple TV, which is definitely a good show. If you like a psychological type, I don't know if it's a thriller, but it's definitely a psychological show. So, but anyway, so definitely recommend that. But I've been stitching that, and it's just a nice, easy TV stitch. So I worked 4 days on that, and I'm really glad about the progress I made on the caribou. The next one I worked on is Wandering in Middle Earth. It's by Cunning Cross Stitch, and it's his current Stitch Your Own Adventure. And this one actually, I believe, just finished up in early November. I started it though just I believe back in September, and I'm stitching this on 46 count linen in the colorway Brown Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. This is definitely my smallest like project. Well, it's not my smallest project is like the treasure hunt, I guess, with the 1/1, but for trying to stitch in hand, if that makes sense. Like, it's just for this one, for the treasure hunt, I actually stitch in a hoop or in a Q-snap. But for this one, I do still hold it in my hands, but it is super tiny. So I really finished up a lot of the pink stitching this time. I would say I'm about 3/4 done with this tree. So in this one, at the very top of this pattern, you are going to stitch, you get to kind of pick your what type of tree you want, which season it is. And so I picked spring. And then next to the tree is going to be my hobbit hole. And so this is all based on the hobbit. And you can, his pattern has different shapes of like, doors and windows, and like whether there's grass or bricks on your hobbit hole, things like that. So the top is actually quite stitch heavy. The other parts, I don't think they're quite as stitch heavy as that, but anyway, that is the kind of the idea behind it. And I think you're basically a hobbit that's wandering through Middle Earth and visiting different parts of of the lands that are in the Hobbit. So anyway, okay. So that one, the next part I'm working on is the string of lights at the bottom of the tree. So that'll be neat to have that done. And I feel like once I get to the trunk, it'll be like easy, you know, I'll be excited to start the next part. So, all right. And then the last project I worked on this month was Pop Art Tiger. This is by Artisy, and you can get it on their online store, which I have the link in my description box below. This at the time was a freebie, but I just got lucky, I think. It's 186 stitches wide and 176 inches tall, so it is full coverage and fairly big piece. And I think it's got about 80 colors. So this is where I'm at. And I love, oh my gosh, I love the colors. That's what totally just got me to pick this project to do, because I love color. So yeah, so I'm working on his ear. The fabric is 32 count Monet by Picture This Plus, and it is a linen. And I love the colors too. Oh gosh, I already said that like 6 times. But so it is a mirror image pattern. So basically whatever I do on this side is going to be the exact pattern on the other side. So it's so I figure what I'll do is kind of work my way down the tiger's face, and then I'll start back up here and work down, so I'm not constantly doing the same thing. But yes, so this is on my WhipGo board from 2022 that I've been trying to finish, and so I did get, I believe, 3 days on that, which is awesome. That's almost a box. I got 2 more days to work on it. And okay, here, let me show you all the colors. This is pretty neat, all those colors. So yes, really fun project to work on. Those are my projects. I did buy a few things this month. Probably the most exciting thing is a new pattern that I do want to start soon, and it's called 1864 EF Sampler. This sampler was reproduced by Christy Schmitz and Vicki Jennett, and this is for the Sampler and Antique Needlework magazine. So I found this project. It originally first saw it on Mama Loves You GB way back, like probably 2.5 years ago or something. I don't know. She actually made a stitch along with another floss tuber at the time, and I guess my mind, I just mentally noted it, and then for some reason it just came back into my mind that I really liked that sampler and I wanted to find it and start it. So one of the things I like about it is that it has the farm animals in it, and there's like a cow at the very bottom, and it's got like a milkmaid, and just, I don't know, and I love all the colors too. They're very beautiful. So anyway, I definitely, so I had to do some detective work to find it. I had to go on to Mama Loves You GB's Instagram, and I had to find the picture, and then I had to find like where she could, like where you buy it, because it was released in a magazine. And it turns out you can still buy it through their, I think it's like Annie's online basically shop, which I will post below, but you just have to buy that magazine from 2011, and that's where I found it. So so I did, and it was only $5 for that magazine. Oh my gosh, $5 for like that sampler. It's just like, what a steal. Not only that, but it comes with I think 1 or 2 other patterns, and one of them is really beautiful too. I'll put a picture here too. I think it's called Faith, and it's a Quaker. So it is charted in NPI, which I was thinking, like, I haven't ever used, well, I have used NPI, but never like kitted a whole project with it. And then I looked how much it is, and it's about $5 for a skein of that. So I decided that I was going to just do DMC, because it would be about $200 just to kit up this project just with the NPI. But that's okay. So I'm going to do DMC, and I've got my shopping list ready and I just need to start kitting it up. But oh, and the other thing is I need to find fabric. And I went through my box, and I do not have anything that I want to use for this. So I've been in the hunt for fabric, and I have like a few times I've added to my cart, you know, something, and then I'm just like, I think I'm just not convinced, and so I have not chosen a fabric yet. So that's the other thing I need to work on, but very excited to start that soon. The other thing I did was I bought, so I'm a very visual person, and even though I do love my iPhone for organizing certain things, I actually really prefer being able to see things like printed out in front of me. And so what I found is I get lost with the charts I have. Like I don't even actually remember what I have anymore. And so what I've decided to do is start like kind of a 3-ring binder journal of sorts. And so I needed something that would allow me to like basically write about my projects. And I was looking like my husband's really good with PowerPoint, and I know that he could have come up with something, but he's also super busy right now with work. So I was like, I'm just going to go on Etsy and find something that will suit my needs. And I did find it. Let me tell you, the shop name was Cross Stitch by Vanya. She's out of Bulgaria. And I found these project tracker sheets, and they're super basic, but they have so much detail though for what you might want to write about. And you can write any notes. And then what's also neat is you can keep track of like how many days in a certain year that you've worked on a project, and also fill in the dots as you move along, like depending. So I thought that I really love that. So she had, and then the thing is, it's like a combo. So you get that, but you also get a new project kit paper. So basically, just if you have plans to start something, which actually I have the one I just told you about. This is the one I filled out for that. For her EF there. And I really liked it. I just did all the DMC I need. So that way I can like check them off and like just see exactly what I need and not have to dig out the PDF for the chart. But anyway, and if you want to, there's also a shopping list. Like if you were going to go to a store, you could just cut that off. My stores are all in Columbus, so a lot of times since it's still about a 30-minute drive, I do order online a lot. But and I think it actually has there's a third paper too, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, so I think it was only $5 for this little kit of papers, and has been super helpful organizing my 3-ring binder. And then that way I can keep track of the projects I want to do. Like, so for instance, like here's one I bought that I forgot I had. I love this pattern. This is by Cottage Garden Sampling. Is that right? Yeah, Cottage Garden Samplings. Christmas Parade. Oh my gosh, look at the cute little animals. Yes, forgot I had it. So now it's in my binder. And that way when I'm thinking about starting something new, or like, oh, I can find it in here. So I'm still kind of working through all my projects to add them to that. But I've been very happy. So that was something I did. And then the last, the last thing I also bought was, I bought a new craft desk. I gave my sewing desk to my daughter for her room upstairs. And when I did that, I thought, okay, it's fine. I'll just set up my sewing machine when I need to at the kitchen table. Well, of course, like I never set it up because it's already busy with all the other things, either meals or like backpacks or whatever. So so I was like thinking I'm ready to have a sewing table again. So I did find a desk, and I'm looking forward. I just got it yesterday, so I'm looking forward to putting that together and putting that in the office. And it'd be really nice if eventually that would be my new filming space, because this couch I'm sitting on right now is actually going to go downstairs into our basement, which is now fully finished. Now we're just waiting on time together, my husband and I together, to work on moving this couch down and the toys from our garage and stuff that we've been storing while we've been working on it. So this couch is gonna go downstairs, and so I'm gonna need a new filming space. So yes, so that is my hope in the future, is to be able to film there, but also have my sewing machine and a place for like my knickknacks. So I'm excited. And then on a side note, I also bought more Amazon bags, like these kind, because well, I do like to sew my own bags normally, but I haven't had a lot of time, and I keep wanting to start things, and then I find I have nowhere to put them. So I was like, I might as well just bite the bullet and buy some Amazon bags. So I did do that as well. My plans for this upcoming this month and the beginning of next month, I would like to work on my oldest project, which is Achu, and it's by Dimensions. It's a Dimensions kit that I bought back in, gosh, I think I bought it in 2009, but I started it in 2013, and it would like to be finished. And then I also want to work on the Chibi Princesses for my daughter, since I'm so close to a finish there. And then the last one I know for sure is the full coverage piece that I want to work on, is the Magic Study. So those are kind of the 3 pieces I for sure want to touch. I'm sure I'll work on the stocking, because I definitely want to keep working, getting progress on that. And then otherwise, it's just organizing my craft desk when I get it built, and finding a place to put my things now. So I'm really excited about that. Well, thank you so much again for joining me today. I so appreciated you guys hanging out with me while I went over my projects with you, and I hope you're having a really nice, warm, hopefully fall day, and I will see you guys all again soon. Happy stitching!